So, welcome to another episode of the People, Passion, and Purpose podcast. So, each time I'm sitting next, or each time I'm sitting with somebody here, it is always an inspiring story. And purely because I am privy to all the stories that happens before the podcast gets recorded and even after the podcast gets recorded. Some of it will not reach the audience as is. But every time I get to hear stories, I get up inspired with so much more. There is always a josh that comes to me after every of this podcast. So, and the whole idea of this entire Women's Month series is to make sure that women share their stories, and more women sharing their stories means more women get inspired and they come up with their stories. And stories are, as all of us know, very strong, very transformational. So here I have with me a wonderful persona and a person and a storyteller herself, Shilpa Srinivas. So welcome to the show, ma'am. Lovely to speak with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sunil
Yes,
sir. It's always an honor to
yes,
be here with you, sharing the space.
absolutely.
Thanks for inviting.
Absolutely, ma'am. And you're also one of those trainers that I've actually met in person, possibly only once, possibly 20-25 minutes of conversation only prior to this. But it
That's right.
almost feels like I've known you for a very long time.
True.
And it is such a joy to be with you. I think you are also part of the smiling squad of people and trainers. So, and more so than all the accolades that I'll read out in terms of this. You as a persona, I think it was wonderful to talk to you. In the first time, again, every time. So I wanted to have this space with you and share your story to the rest of the world.
True, sir.
So,
Likewise. Same feeling here. Yes, we've met only once, and that was in UBC, and we connected very well. It happens, certain human connections are instantaneous, spontaneous. I'm glad it
absolutely.
happened. And we are here
No,
because of that.
absolutely. And so just to formally introduce yourself, you're a English language trainer. You help people in terms of the spoken, written English. You are also a holistic transformation coach. You worked internationally across India, UK, and many other places. 10,000 plus people you worked with in terms of their spoken English, their persona, and India across other places. Two or multiple of the awards that I am aware of is the Diamond Nari Award in 2022 for your contribution in the training field during COVID. Karnataka Seva Ratna Award as the emerging iconic entrepreneur in 2023 in November, and you're featured in multiple podcasts. So I can also say you also be featured in mine, right? So and top 25 speaker, and recently, very recently, the unstoppable women leader from the CEO of Sundaram Motors, right? So the list I think has a longer one, but I'll pass here.
Not really, sir. Not really. All this has just increased the responsibility on my shoulders to contribute more to the society. Because every time they recognizes, it just boosts us. It gives a
Oh,
boost to our morale that we need
absolutely,
to do.
absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely. So, how did you get in touch with, say, English? So what's your passion with English?
Okay, that's a wonderful question. Let me just tell you, sir, I come from a very humble middle class background and I studied in a very ordinary school. Most of the times, English was being taught in Kannada, the regional language. And then when I used to look at speakers who were speaking very fluently, flawlessly, and with such great vocabulary, I used to get inspired and I used to feel, is it really possible for me to do so? That was where the urge to learn any language better started within me. Well, I'm a huge fan of Kannada and I have read a lot of books. I got inspired from my dad. He's very strong in literature. So I always fell in love with literature, be it Kannada or English. I started with Kannada books. But this fascination about English started while in school. I used to participate always in so many debates and essays and all types of competitions. And English was introduced to me at various levels, got inspired by few teachers. But it really struck me that when I moved abroad, when I was working in London, in India, somehow you can manage speaking in other languages, but there you have no other language but to resort to English. So that's when I had this huge challenge that I have to pick up on this English speaking skills and I have to improve it, I have to better it. And the way people look at you, especially in our country, I think if a person can speak fluently in English, automatically respect will follow. I don't know why this phenomenon is there, but somehow this is prevalent. And
Correct.
all this made me think about it, and unconsciously I started working on it, and my passion towards learning it started there. And I somehow believe that, if I can do it, so can anyone. And that's when I started my own academy. So that's where the story comes from.
Wow. So, a middle class youngster in getting inspired by speaking and getting to UK and then starting from there. And 10,000 plus people is not an easy number. So, how did you start to work with the first person?
Oh, great. That's an interesting story. Actually, I was accidentally introduced into this training industry because while I
Mm-hmm.
was working in London or before going to London, let me tell you, I'm basically a microbiologist, a science student. And I was the topper of my college. So all my HODs and lecturers, they had huge expectations from me that I'm going to go ahead and pursue my PhD and all of that, which I couldn't do because of various issues. Then when I stepped into this training industry accidentally, I have to be thankful to my mentor, Venkata Subbarao sir. When I came back from London, well, I was looking for a job here and I wanted to start from the scratch. That's when I was introduced to Venkat Subbarao sir through one of my very good friend, Shubha. And, and I don't know what he saw in me. It's always that, when people especially a mentor who comes in the form of a mentor, they identify something in you which you have never found in yourself. They'll have that innate ability. So he just pushed me on the stage and he told me, Shilpa ma'am, tomorrow you're going to give a talk on how to improve English because I had recently come back from London. Probably he attached the tag of English to me and he told me you have to talk about how to improve your English speaking skills. And we're all going to be present there. Who is my audience? Trainers, all trainers. I am this, I don't even know the ABCs of training, and I have to be there on the stage. Literally, my knees were trembling. I was so much scared. How can I do it looking at the audience? Then I believed in him. I trusted him. If he has given it to me, it's my responsibility to give my 100%. I just went on the stage. And this intoxication about stage, I've always had it. I've recognized this. When I go on stage, I'm a different person. With preparation or without preparation, I'm more of an impromptu person, spontaneous person. So when I go on the stage, I become a different person. I think stage intoxicates me. And I went there, I made them do some activities. I started off with English speaking. I don't know what came on me. I did it quite passionately, which I believed. And everybody started appreciating me. And VSR, as we fondly call him, Venkat Subbarao sir, he never ever directly appreciates. He just has a beautiful smile on his face. And he said, "Well done, madam. Barala andri you, I mean, you rock madadri stage na anta helidru." So that was like a moment for me. Okay, I think I have it in me. I can do it. I think all the trainers, my colleagues, and BSR sir himself was my first person, in the audience to hear it from me. That's how the journey began. And then we started going to numerous places, traveling widely, wherever they call me. And he always gave me this challenge just before 5 minutes of the session. I used to accompany him because I was into business development. I used to accompany him wherever he went, and from the parking lot to the auditorium was the time he used to give me. So, madam, first half an hour, you handle Madbadi session. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. And that is like hundreds and 200s of teachers who are there. What are you supposed to do? Like, how can you stand in front of them? You need to have a strong content. You need to deliver value. And he used to give me that time and space. And if he has given you, I trusted him that he must have trusted me with whatever I'm going to give is going to be the best or it will suit that audience. So I used to prepare mentally, still feeling scared, still with all the self doubts. I used to go on stage and do some activities and make some meaningful sessions and make some meaningful sentences and come back. Slowly, that's how it started, and I started getting used to this concept. So even before he pushed me into it, I used to be well prepared. Okay, this time something is going to come, so let me be prepared for it. This constant preparation probably led me to spontaneity on the stage. And there is not a single day where I don't think of him, where I don't bow down my head to him because he was the one who identified that ability in me and pushed me into it. And today I'm deeply, deeply satisfied with whatever I'm doing. So thanks to him.
Thanks to Venkat Subba sir as well, so Subbarao sir as well. So because it is imperative for somebody to have a mentor. If you have that guru's blessings, I think it changes your life at in so many
100%.
levels. And
100%.
people come to our life in some way or the other. You don't know where they're coming from, why they're coming from, but they
True.
leave with such impact. And I
True.
think you also taken over that because the it's not only about language, right? It's not you're not teaching them the vocabulary. You're teaching is part of the overall space, and the transformation that you see after somebody has learned a language or anything that they're learning for sure is a big change. So, any such interesting stories that you have? I know you have like 10,000 plus students, but there should be some of your most remembered students, the ones that you mostly remember. So, any of those interesting anecdotes that you can share with us?
Many, many actually, but I would like to take a recent one. See, I train mostly on adults, mainly adults, because I don't cater to all categories now. I have narrowed down my niche, and we at Self Academy have been training only working professionals, especially, or who can feel the heat of the situation. Like, how does it really matter when you're really not good in English communication? They've been facing a lot of traumas because of that. But the recent anecdote which I can take up here is there was a lady, I don't want to take her name. Her husband was leading a very big company, and this has 5 branches in India, a major IT company. And he is the managing director of that company. This lady, of course, had very strong family principles, but she was, what should I say, deeply disappointed with herself because she was not able to accompany her husband for a single professional event, office parties, or anywhere because she was not able to speak in English. And because of that, she was in deep depression. She had so many self doubts and she didn't want to trust herself. I don't think I'll ever be able to do it. And she came to me somehow through an Impact Foundation. Well, and that's another story for me to share about Impact Foundation. I'll come to it later on. She came to me through that foundation and she approached me literally in tears. And she told, Ma'am, can you please help me? Can you help me to find myself? I'm literally lost and I don't know where else to go. It's like an eyes, it's like a blind person with eyes. No, I still don't know how to go ahead. I felt I did not take it very seriously at that time. I said, don't worry, it's all right. I'm here to help. You come into the academy, it will happen by itself and all that. She started taking every session very seriously. She used to adopt each and every principle, whatever I told her, do all the assignments, 100% dedication, full effort. And you won't believe now, after a few months of training, she is giving seminars to corporate professionals, her own husband's colleagues, about spirituality in full English. And everybody around her has started noticing and appreciating her. And there are so many people coming to me. If she can do it, I can also do it. Please, ma'am, I want to be a part of her academy. Now, this story maybe it's a story of many people not knowing how to speak and they're able to speak. But this is the journey of transformation. She started finding herself. Now she's accompanying her husband everywhere to all the parties, to all the events, and her husband travels a lot. Because she didn't know how to speak in English, she was not accompanying him. She was scared. If I go outside, like that English story, how will I be
Correct.
able to manage? Because I don't know other languages. Now she'll travel alone and she's enjoying that, being with herself. She can talk to anybody. She'll make new friends. She's a role model to everybody whom she meets. And I've heard hundreds of stories from her friends come to me. What happened with her? What did you change in her? How come she's transformed so much? Complete new identity. I think this is one anecdote I would love to take because this has given me utmost happiness whenever I see.
Absolutely. I think this is such a huge transformation personally for her. And somehow as a teacher, as a mentor, you sitting with them through the whole process. I think some part of the credit overflows to also you, saying, "Hey, this is interesting." And oh yeah, the satisfaction at the end of it is a crazy level of satisfaction.
True.
Right, I could see that the glow when you're talking about that particular person while
I
you're
always
sharing
have
that.
it. Yes.
So. Who or what is your favorite teacher?
Okay. I've had many favorite teachers right from my childhood, but it's always been more or less English teachers. I'm not biased. Uh, right from my middle school or my high school, the way I write my handwriting, it's like my English teacher, or the way I pronounce few things, it's my English teacher. Well, the first person who influenced me was my primary school principal. I studied in a school called Holy Child Convent. The principal of that school, the way she used to express, the way she used to spontaneously make some speeches for all the students to motivate them. I was not exposed to that kind of environment before in my previous school. And when I shifted to this school, I was getting attracted by her aura. And I used to feel that I need to listen to her more and more. So she was one of the first person who inspired me a lot. There are many teachers in my formative years. There are many teachers who have inspired me. And yes, mostly English teachers, sometimes Sanskrit teachers, the way they used to dedicate their time to make us understand and to help us with our exams and all that. And yes, as and when we moved along, mentors like Venkat Subbarao sir and Gampa Nageshwar Rao sir, one of my greatest mentor again, who pushed me into this field where he gave me the confidence that you can do something on your own. And that's when I started my own academy. So, to name a few.
And your academy is named Self. What's the story behind Self?
Self, it just erupted out of our minds, in that one instant. We wanted to do something in English because it so happened that accidentally, while I was talking about Gampa Nageshwar Rao sir, during the COVID times, we were all sitting at home, and that was the boom of online. Everybody started doing sessions on Zoom and all of that. Just to enhance my skill, I had participated in a program which was run by a foundation in Hyderabad, Impact Foundation. They recognized my skills, and my mentor, Krishna Chaitanya sir, he identified me and he said, I'm going to give you prime time, Saturday evening. Impact Foundation is a big foundation. They have 2 million plus subscribers. So I'm going to give you a prime time, Saturday evening. You've got a prime space where you can address on a topic, you know, thousands and lakhs of students who are coming online from all different parts of the world. You can do on any topic of your choice for half an hour, 7 to 7:30. And you know what? The founder of Impact Foundation, Gampa Nageshwar Rao sir, will also be there present. So he just gave me this opportunity. I took that opportunity, and again, this was spontaneous. I picked Learn English Without Grammar. This was the topic. That was my first video with Impact Foundation. And by God's grace, for some unknown reason, it went viral. People loved the way I spoke and how simplistic it was. And it went viral. And Gampa sir approached me and he appreciated me right there in front of everybody in the live session. And he immediately told me that this girl is going to do another 21 days session on our Impact platform. And she's going to teach everybody English. People who cannot learn English, they have to learn English. This came to me. This was a call from the universe. I had not planned anything. So it just came to me. And that's how I picked up English. English has always been my passion, but this came to me on its own. Before that, I used to train on various other subjects, not just English. That is when, after a few months, I realized like if there is such a big need, there is a dearth, in that English communication. People need to bridge that gap. Why not do something about it? And he was the one who motivated me, Gampa Nageshwara Garu. He told me like, start something on your own, design a course, make it accessible to people, do something and all of that. So I and my husband, he is the motivator, the guide next to me. He's done everything for me. He's a very good friend of mine, my best friend. So he sat with me and he designed everything. We both came up with this name. Oh, okay, if it's about English, speak English language fluently, SELF. So that's how Self was born. And then we added so much to it. Bring out the best version of yourself, find yourself, your true identity, and all of self, self, self. So we started inculcating so many concepts about mindset, about finding yourself, and all of that. Again, thanks to another mentor, Tony Robbins. He's played a huge role in both of our lives, I and my husband's life. But yes, that's how Self was born. Speak English language fluently. That's
Wow. So simple yet so profound.
it. Well said.
Oh, absolutely. And Tony Robbins, I think, is a towering figure and an inspirational figure in many of people's lives.
That's right.
I only know about this is the same person who's named Tony Robbins only recently after I became a coach. But otherwise, I've seen some of his videos prior, but I not really bothered to know who that person is, what is the overall background. Only later in my coaching journey, it's like, oh, such a huge influence to the lives of people. That's how I know that. And you mentioned twice about Impact Foundation.
Yes.
So what is it? What happens there?
Yes, Impact Foundation is an NGO where they offer soft skills, public speaking skills, examination skills, you name it, they do it. They have got around 999 modules and excellent trainers, everything for free. Everything for
Oh,
free. Yes. And they have such a deep, urge to give it back to the society. They have excellent trainers, right from Yendamuri Virendranath to Pattabhi Ramulu. So many eminent trainers. They are a huge group and they train the trainers. They make the next level of trainers. They make them ready and they again want to contribute to the society. Extremely patriotic. My group was called Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Group. So every group is given the name of a freedom fighter and they inculcate this patriotic feelings inside everybody and they believe in giving back to the society. So if I'm trained under Impact Foundation, it is my responsibility to go to a few government schools and do some few trainings to them. So I have to do it. That is how I'm paying the Guru Dakshina. And then I pass on, train the trainer methodologies to others, and then again do it. But otherwise, you are free to do whatever you want. For monetary benefits, you can start your own academy, you get the confidence, you get the support. But whatever you're doing in Impact has to be for free. So that's all about Impact Foundation. And while I did the 21 days free English class, unknowingly, they touched the 2 million subscription on YouTube. And Gampa sir personally called me to congratulate. It was you who was responsible. So your videos started going viral. And every day in my live sessions, just like how you're doing it to me, I used to go live on YouTube, start off with the session, not knowing who the audience were totally. You don't have any idea about the audience. And for a trainer, probably that is one of the fundamental thing you need to know. The target audience, right? Otherwise, how will you frame? So I just went with a blank mindset and started training everybody. There used to be 1,000 students every day, 21 days, 1,000 students every day. And we went on and on, great energy. All my videos are there on YouTube. And people started coming back to me. That is when I realized, okay, there's something in my teaching methodology which is actually connecting with people, and I have to work on it more and more. Started building on my skills, and that's how it all went. So once again, deepest gratitude to Impact Foundation and Gampa Nageshwarrao. And I don't know what he recognized in me. He gave me that opportunity, that platform, which went viral and which gave me the confidence to start something on my own.
wow. Oh, absolutely. I think very inspiring. No, some things in life come our way, and then we do something, and it takes a new shape. It puts us on a path we uh, don't know exist as of now. So from a microbiologist to starting something on this journey. So if and when you look back, how do you see that journey?
Sometimes, if I look at it from a third person's perspective, it's like they'll be shocked or surprised. I don't know. It's a serious turn of events. But one thing has always stood constant. Stage has fascinated me, as I told you before, right from my childhood. I always used to love going on stage, making use of opportunities. And I used to participate. I was like state level debate competitor, go to Vishweswaraya Museum, participate in Kannada debates. And suddenly I froze. I didn't know what to speak. I went blank in my eighth standard, I remember. Then I came back thinking that, Mom, I completely forgot. What am I supposed to speak? Then she said, okay, you go and stand in the last in the queue. You will be given one more chance. Okay. Try to buck up, try to, come back on the stage and do something. Then I did it on the stage. I was state level winner, all of that. So I had this unique relationship with stage always. And every competition, any kind of competition, raise my hand, whether you know about it or not. I used to be there, somehow figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. That's my philosophy. Whether I know or don't know, I'll somehow figure it out. I used to take the help of people, who were good in language. and go to them, sit patiently for them to write some debates for me, write some essays for me. And the first speech which I did on stage was in my fifth standard in front of A.S. Murthy. Again, Tumba Dodda Sahiti, nimaga ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. He has written so many dramas and a very great personality, an artist. So I did my first Kannada speech, Independence Day speech in front of him, completely in Kannada. So that boosted my morale, and he appreciated me in his speech. ಆ ಮಗು ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತು. ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಉಚ್ಚಾರಣೆ ನಂಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಯ್ತು. This is what exactly he said. From then onwards, I used to love being on stage. Even while I was doing my master's in microbiology, I was the president of, there was this magazine, Probe magazine. So I was the president of that. And that day when the president was elected, I had not gone to college for some reason. I don't remember what was the reason. But they had unanimously elected me as the president, even without my consent, because they knew she can do it. And I automatically became, next day when I went, they announced that you are the president. And there were some elections and all that, because I studied in a government college, Maharani's. And, my HOD supported me a lot, Agnes Madhuravani ma'am. That came within, it was there probably inside me, going on the stage and doing it. First time MSc students never participated in any dance competition. I was the first one in the history of Maharani's that going on the stage and dancing. Somehow this always, as I told you, intoxicated me, fascinated me. It was there within me. Training came, it automatically happened. Probably I was prepared for it. And in BSc, there was this company called Cultage. They used to go to all some big universities and colleges. I did my degree from ES. They came to our college and they had the series of competitions, and the winner was one girl and one boy. The girl was supposed to be titled as Miss School, and Mr. Easy something. So they just asked us to write an essay. The first initial step, they had to filter out and then bring, like, the entire college is participating. And then you come filter out through various steps. I got through that, and then in the big auditorium, in our degree, probably there were 40 students, only 7 of them were localites. Rest, they came from north part of India. That was probably the initial start where Bangalore started seeing a lot of North Indians. And we 7 were like Kannadigas. And somehow this competition grew into between North versus South. I was the only Kannada girl who was there in the auditorium, going to the final step of this competition, Miss School. Everybody started cheering me. They don't even know me. They haven't seen me. The entire college, nam Kannada hudki idarappa, baba support madana. And everybody started cheering. Jai Karnataka, Jai Kannada. That, I don't know, some spirit came within me, and I won that title, Miss School. That was one of its kind. The first win on a huge platform. They awarded me. It was from MTV and Cultage. So they gave me this jacket, and the college, all my friends lifted me on their shoulders, and it was like a huge thing. Probably all that led me to training, because I always wanted to be on stage.
And ಕತೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು. So you said
ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದರದ್ದು ಒಂದಿದೆ ಎಸೆನ್ಸ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ಇಂಟು ಇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ.
yes, absolutely. And I think now I also know how your students can, are always interested in whatever you're sharing. And also the stories that you are sharing is also something that they subscribe to. They are easier to understand for them. But another question, I think we've done a lot about whatever your accomplishments are. But if you were to define Shilpa as a person, without telling all the accolades, without what you do, but who you are, how would you do that?
Wow, that's an interesting question. Nobody had asked me that before. Well, as a person, without attaching any accolades, number one, I'm a very friendly person. Always had a lot of friends. And I love having human connections. I understand from every human their behaviors, their emotions. I can read minds very well, connect to people. And once I have a connection, it's like lifelong. I'm very loyal to people. So I love talking to people, connecting with them. And I'm a very friendly person. Number two, I love helping and being together. If someone really needs something, and if I'm there at that moment, I would want to do it. I'll just tell you a funny anecdote about this. Okay, hope you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
I don't know, it suddenly came to my mind. I was in my degree, and there was this blood donation camp going on. We being this young and energetic ladies, all three girls, three best friends, we walked to the auditorium and we said, we want to donate blood. They checked our weight, and looking at us, they said, you need blood. You can't give blood. They gave us one apple and sent us back. and, we couldn't come back to our classmates because we don't know how they're going to tease us, because only three of us had volunteered. So we couldn't come back to the class. We just roamed around, going everywhere else, and came back to the class once the session, the next teacher had come in and class had started. So it was that urge to help others, or do something for the society, or whatever you can, whatever is possible. It was always there. That is one thing which can define me. And what else? I go with my heart. My heart is the brain is the heart. No differences between that. I do what I want to do. I take decisions based on my own, that instinct. Right from my childhood, fourth standard, I was in a different school till fourth standard. I went to my brother's school day program. I saw it was so colorful, so entertaining, and so much space for coming out with your talent. I went and fought with my dad. You know how it is, right? Middle class family, single earning member, father. With a new school comes donation, with new uniform, books, everything changes. It's a huge burden on him. He was very adamant. I've always been this rebellious child. No, no. I want to change my school. I'm not going to that. Go to this new school where my brother has joined. I want to go to the same school. I've always been a decision maker. I take decisions for myself. Sometimes it bounces back, stand or fall by my decisions, but I take decisions. I don't depend on others. And that's how it has always been. It's that instinct which tells me. I guide my inner power. Probably these three things define me. That's what is coming to my mind as of now.
ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಕತೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಸೊ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ ಕಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡದ ಸೊಗಡಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ.
Correct.
ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋಣ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ನೀವು ಬೇರೆ ಏನಾರ ಮೀಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೋರಿನ ಕೇಳದೆ ಶಿಲ್ಪಾನ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಯಾವ್ದಾರ ಒಂದ್ ಕತೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳಿ.
ಈ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಹೇಳ್ದೀರಾ ನನ್ ಕಥೆ ಇನ್ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್. ಓಕೆ. ಸೋ ಮೆನಿ ಸ್ಟೋರೀಸ್, ಬಟ್
ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ.
ಬೇಡ ಸರ್, ಬೋರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗಲೇ ತುಂಬಾ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಓಕೆ. ನನ್ನ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಅತಿ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಪಾತ್ರ ವಹಿಸಿದಂತ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ನನ್ನ ಹಸ್ಬೆಂಡ್. ಅವರು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ಗೆ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಬಂದಾಗಿಂದ ನಾನ್ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರ ಮದ್ವೆಗಳಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅವಾಗ ನನ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ವಯಸ್ಸಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಐ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಥಿಂಕ್, ಆ ಮದ್ವೆ ಹುಡುಗಿ ಶಿ ನೋಸ್ ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ಹಾಲ್. ಬಂದವರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕೈ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಊಟ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಇವ್ರ ನಮ್ಮ ಅತ್ತೆ ಮಗಳು, ಮಾವನ್ ಮೊಮ್ಮಗಳು, the person who's standing next to her, because she still needs to know about him more. ಆವಾಗ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ನನ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋರ್ನೇ ನಾನ್ ಮದ್ವೆ ಆಗೋದು, ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಂತ. ಅಗೇನ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಕಾಲಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಬ್ಲೆಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಗಾಡ್. ಹೀಸ್ ಮೈ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಅವರ ಪಾತ್ರ ನನ್ನ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ತುಂಬಾ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ನನ್ನ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತು ಸರ್. ಬೀಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಶ್ರೀವಿದ್ಯಾ, ಸೌಮ್ಯ, even talking about them, they have inspired me so much. Vidya, I don't know, she's my sweetheart, she's my darling. Even Soumya, they've all inspired me so much, and I'm very close to them, very attached to them. We're all like one big family. ವಿದ್ಯಾ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಮಾತು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಸರ್ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಮುಂಚೆನೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಹೇಗೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿತ್ತು ಸರ್, ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ. He's an integral part of me, sir. Whatever I am, whoever I am today, it's all because of him. The way he has trained me, he has mentored me. But ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಅತ್ಯುತ್ತಮವಾದ ಗುಣ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, he doesn't want to take the limelight. He's always like behind me, next to me, supporting me, pushing me to do the best. He's also my best critic. ಸಲಹೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ತಪ್ಪಿದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅವರೊಬ್ರಿಗೆ ಧೈರ್ಯ ಇರೋದು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ, ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. And he's motivated me. ನಂಗಿನ್ ಯಾರು ಹೇಳ್ದಿರ ಇದ್ರು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವರೊಬ್ರು ನೀನ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ದೆ ಈ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನಂಗೆ ಫುಲ್ ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಷನ್. So he has taught me various aspects of life, ಹೇಗೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ. ಅಂಡ್ ಒಂದು ನನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಕಂಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ದಟ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೋಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಷನ್, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬ ಮನುಷ್ಯನಿಗೂ ಒಂದು ಆತ್ಮಾವಲೋಕನ ಅದು ಇರ್ಬೇಕು, ಅದನ್ನ ಕಲಿಬೇಕು. ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರು ಯಾರು ಹೇಳೋದು ನಮ್ಮ ಮನ್ಸಿಗೆ ತಟ್ಟಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ನಮ್ಮೊಳಗೆ ನಾವು ಹೊಕ್ಕಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಇದು ಸರಿ ಇದು ತಪ್ಪು ಅಂತ ಅದು ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಹಸ್ಬೆಂಡ್ ಇಂದ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಟು ಹಿಮ್. ಹಿಸ್ ನೇಮ್ ಇಸ್ ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಹಿ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ರಿಚ್ IT experience. He's also a superb trainer. More than all of that, a philanthropist. ಅವರಿಂದ ನಾನು ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದು ಒಂದು, ಕೊಡೋದು ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ರೀತಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಕೊಡೋದು. ಅಗೇನ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಾ? ಟೈಮ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಇದೆಯೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ ನೀವು ಅನ್ಲೇಬೇಕು ಸರ್.
ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಟೈಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವು ಕತೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳೋದಿದ್ದೇ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೇಳಿ.
ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಬಾರಿ ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ನಾವು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ವಿ, ತಿರುವಣ್ಣಾಮಲೈ, ಅ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್, ಅರುಣಾಚಲೇಶ್ವರ. He's a very deeply spiritual person. I have learned a lot of spiritual things from him. Very devotional, very spiritually inclined person. ತಿರುವಣ್ಣಾಮಲೈಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ವಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದೇವರ ದರ್ಶನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಮೇಲೆ ರಮಣ ಮಹರ್ಷಿಗಳ ಆಶ್ರಮದಿಂದ ಹೊರಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಆಶ್ರಮದ ಎದುರುಗಡೆ ಒಂದು ವಯಸ್ಸಾಗಿರೋ ಅಜ್ಜಿ ತಾತ ಕೂತಿತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಜನರಲಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಿಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಇರೋದನ್ನ ಕೊಡೋದು. ತಾತ ಕೊಟ್ವಿ, ಅಜ್ಜಿ ಕೊಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಜಮಾನ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಜಿಟೈಸೇಷನ್, ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಪೇಟಿಎಂ, ಇದು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಡು ವಿ ಜನರಲಿ ಫೀಲ್? ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಯಾವಾಗಾದ್ರೂ ಸಿಗ್ತಾರೆ ನೋಡೋಣ, ಹೊರಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಿ ವರ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ರನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಲೇಟ್. ನಾವ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಊರಿಗೆ ತಲುಪಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಕತ್ಲಾಗೋಷ್ಟೊಳಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಇದ್ರು ನಮ್ ಜೊತೆ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಟು ಡ್ರೈವ್. ಹೋದ್ವಿ ಸುಮಾರು 5 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ಗಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹೋಗಿದೀವಿ ಸರ್. ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದು ATM ಸಿಕ್ತು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡಿ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ವಾಪಸ್ ಬಂದು ಅಜ್ಜಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಹರ್, ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಮ್ಮ ನಿನ್ಗೆ. ಹಿ ಕೇಮ್, ಹಿ ಗೇವ್ ಇಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ಹರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವೆಂಟ್. ನನ್ಗೆ ಈ ತರ ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಣ್ಣ ಸನ್ನಿವೇಶಗಳು ಸರ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಒಂಥರ ಇಂಟ್ರೋಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, how can anybody be so authentic, so true to what you say? We feel like it's okay, no? We always get another chance to give. ಈ ತರ ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಣ್ಣ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನ ಅವ್ರ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಮೂಲಕ ನನಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್. So this is one incident which I wanted to tell, and I'm truly grateful for him. So if you can define Shilpa, there is no Shilpa without Srinivas. He is a very integral part of me. It's always Shilpa Srinivas. It's one name.
This is a very, very amazing story. I think Srinivas ಅವರನ್ನು ಪಾಡ್ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ಬೇಕು. that is the next agenda. So ನಿಮ್ಮ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಅದು. So,
definitely, sir.
yes, yes,
He
yes.
loves to talk. He loves to talk, making an impact. Yes.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. So, I think ನನ್ನ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಇದ್ದ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳು, I think except maybe one. So if you were to define yourself as an animal or a bird, what would that be?
Oh, wow. Okay. As an animal, a bird. Bird, maybe I would love to define myself as a sparrow. A very cute, eco-friendly bird, chirpy, and ಅದರ ಒಂದು ಆ ಚಿರ್ಪಿ, ಆ ಕಲರವ ಅಂತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ವಯಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಕಿಟಕಿ ಹತ್ರ ಬಂದು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಅಂಡ್ ಅದು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದೇ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಇಂಪಾಗ್ ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಅವಾಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ರಿಯಲೈಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಇವಾಗ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಚ್ಚಿಗಳೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಅಂಡ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಹಾರ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ಅಂಡ್ ಶಬ್ದ ಮಾಡ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಇಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಫೆಲ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಂತೂ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಬರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. ನನಗನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಸಮ್ವೇರ್ ಅದು ಈಗ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ, ಫಾರ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್. ಸೊ probably I can identify with that. Very chirpy, very bubbly. I'll be everywhere. I'll be giving that kind of positive vibes. But if I go back, I completely go back. I retaliate. Nange eshtu loyal agirtino, if I feel that I have to get away from that situation, or if I need to distance, I'll completely go away, and I'll have a very strong reason to do that. So probably our character nalli I can identify. You keli takshana nange adonde gottagtirodu. Animal ಸಾಕಲ್ವಾ ಸರ್? ಬರ್ಡ್ ಸಾಕಲ್ವಾ?
ನಿಮ್ ಸಾಕೋದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಸಾಕೆ. ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಬಟ್ ಇದು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇದು ನೀವ್ ಕತೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಾನೆ ಪಾಡ್ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ನೀವ್ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಏನ್ ಕೇಳ್ಬೇಕಿಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಕತೆ ತಾನೇ ಹೇಳಿ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೇನಂತೆ ಅಂತ. So,
yeah, I would compare myself to a tigress, because When I do it, I'll do it like a tigress, with all that roar and with all that hugeness. Um, and I don't know, when some people walk in, they walk in with that grace, at the same time fierceness antarala. That's what I believe in, and that's what I'm trying to live up to. So probably I would identify to a tigress.
Oh, definitely. I think ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಾನು in say 1.5 hours of my interactions with you, some of them are already tick marked. And I think the first time meet ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ one of those things that impressed me was I think ನಾನು ವಿದ್ಯಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ದಟ್ಸ್ later came in is how the whole gang of trainers you were with and they were with you.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, ಇವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು was one of the first things that came in, and I think that's how the whole conversation also came into play. And that you have that presence, that is very, very, very truly evident.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much coming from you.
Oh, wow. And ಈಗ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಸೊ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಸಮಯ ಮಾತಾಡಿದೀವಿ. So if you had to say something that you would leave as a legacy for anybody listening to this podcast, so what do you have to say? It could be for women, it could be for you, it could be for anybody who's watching it. Any message?
Definitely. See, for women especially, I would love to say, in your 30s and 40s, design your life the way you have to lead your 50s and 60s. Don't go to 50s and then think about everything comes by design. Now design madkobeku. It just doesn't happen its way. So design your 50s and 60s in your 30s and 40s itself, so that you can lead a life of fulfillment, is what I would, definitely would love to convey to every woman. Of course, a lot of things, be financially independent, be courageous, all of that is there. But then design your 50s and 60s. Don't wait to get to there and then think, what should I do now with my life? That's one thing. Otherwise, to the rest of the lot, anybody in general, I would say, stand up for yourself. Don't expect others to do it for you. They'll have their own reasons to stand up for you or to not stand up for you. Okay, you cannot judge them based on that. But if you have the courage to stand up for yourself, ಇದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಕತೆ ಇದೆ ಹೇಳ. Okay, illa sir, this is my story again, where I stood up for myself and I did it. The first day of my job in London, ತುಂಬಾ ಖುಷಿ ಇತ್ತು ಸರ್. ಲಂಡನ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಜಾಬ್ ಸಿಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತು, ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗಿ, ದೆನ್ ಐ ಗಾಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಅ ಜಾಬ್ ವೇರ್ ಐ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಪೌಂಡ್ಸ್. ಖುಷಿ ಆಗಲ್ವಾ ಸರ್, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಫಾರಿನ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ. ದೆನ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಆಫ್ ಮೈ ಜಾಬ್, ಸೂಪರ್ ಎಕ್ಸೈಟೆಡ್. ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಬ್ರಿಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ದೇ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಡ್ರೆಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್. So black suit, everything well dressed, going on the first day of your job. You're sitting there. Just after half an hour, I was into a sales job. Then I started doing sales calls, and suddenly more thing in half an hour, 1 hour observe madlilla. Nan sutmutlu idavalla migrant Indians, most of them, not many Brits, migrant Indians. They making fun of me, laughing at my accent. ಅವ್ರವರೇ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನೋ ಒಂಥರ ಡಿಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. I could feel it. Could sense it. It went on and on. And suddenly I felt like a failure. ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ ಖುಷಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೊಟ್ಟೋಯ್ತು. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಜಾಬ್, ಪೌಂಡ್ಸು ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೊಟ್ಟೋಯ್ತು ನಂಗೆ. ಎಲ್ರ ಮುಂದೆ ಅಳಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ದೆನ್ ಐ ರ್ಯಾನ್ ಟು ದ ವಾಶ್ರೂಮ್. ಐ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಕ್ರೈಯಿಂಗ್. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ಲಾ ಜಾಬ್ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು? ಇಷ್ಟೇನಾ ನನ್ನ ಕೈಲಿ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗೋದು? ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿ. ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದು ಮಾಡೋ ತರ. ಮೇ ಬಿ ಇಂಡಿಯಾಲ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಓಕೆ, ನಾಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಬಟ್ ನಂಗೆ ಮನೇಲಿ ಕೂರಕ್ ಇಷ್ಟ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. Kitty parties, all that usual lady stuff, gossiping. I didn't want to do that. So what was the choice? I just regathered myself. ಒಂದು 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ನನ್ನೊಳಗೆ ನಾನು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು, ನನ್ನ ಮುಖ ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡಿಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು, see, you can't depend on anybody. You are there alone. Can you do it for yourself? ನಿನಗೆ ನೀನು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀಯ? Then I went back. I stood with that, I sat in my chair, teary-eyed, all that. I washed my face, came back and sat. I did not look at anybody, sir. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ನನ್ನ ಫೈಲು, ನನ್ನ ಕಾಲ್ಸು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದೆ. ಟುವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ದಿ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡೇ, ಐ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈ ಟೀಮ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಆಫ್ ಮೈ ಜಾಬ್, ದೇ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಮಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಅವಾರ್ಡೆಡ್ ಮಿ. ಇವತ್ತಿಗೂ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಈ ವಿನಿ ದ ಪೂದು ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಒಂದು 6 ಅಡಿ ಎತ್ತರದ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್ ನನಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ದಿಸ್ ಗರ್ಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಸರ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೆನ್ ಐ ಡಿಸೈಡೆಡ್, henceforth I am going to stand up for myself. I don't depend on anybody. I think this applies to everybody. Don't depend on others. Don't expect others to do this or to do that for you. ನಿಮಗೆ ನೀವು ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. You will make it in life.
ಹೊಸ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ಮೀ ವೆನೆವರ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ವೆನ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಸ್ಟಕ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಪಾಡ್ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ವಾಟ್ ಟು ಡೂ. ಗಿವ್ ಮಿ ಅ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ದಟ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೈರ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ವಾಟ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಪ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ವೆರಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಸೆಗ್ವೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಬಟ್ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಅಬ್ಸಲ್ಯೂಟ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನಲ್, ಅಬ್ಸಲ್ಯೂಟ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನಲ್ ಅಂಡ್
ಸರ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ನಮಗ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಹೊರಡುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ ಸರ್? ಅಲ್ವಾ ಅಂದಿದ್ ನಾನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸರ್. ಸಮ್ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ದ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಪಾಪ್ ಅಪ್.
ಯು ವಿಲ್
ನಾವೀಗ
you'll figure out something else. Suddenly when you are talking about something else, like, oh shit, I also had another memory saying, oh, this is interesting. I had talked about some of those, some my own experiences and all that. So no, no, so when you podcast me, I will do, I love that.
wow, I would love that. I love that idea. Well, I'll put it on my list, sir. Yes.
Yes. No, wonderful. Absolute joy, absolute joy. I think 1 hour is a very, very small time to capture anybody's time capsule. But generally, because 1 hour is an ideal timeline for our current generational spaces, their attention span. I want to also keep that in mind. But such a beautiful podcast. I am very, very happy our paths crossed.
Thank you.
And most definitely, a big, big thank you for making this happen. And your story is definitely going to inspire more and more of us. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much. It was my honor, a great opportunity to come on your podcast. Such a wonderful human being you are. I think I sent you a message also the other day. Some people we just connect, sir. ಅಷ್ಟೇ. And ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಡೀಪ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ವೇ ಆಫ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆಶು ಕವಿತ್ವ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಒಲವು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ, ಯು ಆರ್ ಅನ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ, ಅಗೇನ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಮೈ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ, ಮೈಕ್ರೋಬಯಾಲಜಿಸ್ಟ್ ಟ್ರೈನರ್, ಅಗೇನ್ ಯು ಕೇಮ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಕೋಚಿಂಗ್. ನೀವು ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಜೊತೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದ ರೀತಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಕೇಳ್ಪಡ್ತಿದ್ದ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್. ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ವೆನ್ ಐ ರಿಲೈಡ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ಯು ಫಾರ್ ಸಮ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್, ದ ವೇ ಯು ಗೇವ್ ಮಿ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಸರ್ ಇನ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್, ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ವೆರಿ ಫ್ಯೂ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಟ್ ದಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್. ಮೇಡಮ್ ನೀವು ಇಳಿದು ಹೋಗಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿ, ಇವ್ರನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿ. ಜನ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವ್ಯೂ ಇಂದ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಕೇಳ್ತಿರೋರ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವ್ಯೂ ಇಂದ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಮೀ ಟು ಯು. Very, person with absolute perfect communication and with a heart to help. So that's how it all started. I'm so glad it happened. Thanks so much to you. And again, thanks to all the wonderful audience who's going to watch it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you so much. Lovely, lovely again speaking with you.